Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Olivia of Olivia's Romantic Home, and in today's video I am so excited to share with you guys 6 DIY Dollar Tree romantic and cottage decor crafts. Listen, I love to share with you guys how you can make your home's boutique gorgeous on a budget, and I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. Now listen, thank you all for bearing with me and praying for me as I have recently taken a tumble off of my ladder, rehanging my curtains. I wish it was more of an exciting story, but it's really not. I do hope to put out new content for you guys as the spring approaches, but I am just giving it some time to heal and rest. So I'm going to keep posting videos, but it might be a little bit of something that you might have already seen. So bear with me, y'all, and please keep tuning in. It is such a blessing and honor to have you guys here, and I am so thankful. Now listen, I know you're here for the crafting, so let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns. Get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafty.
Dollar Tree DIY. I'm going to take one of these round Dollar Tree hoop rings and 2 of the Dollar Tree ivy garlands, and I'm just going to twist the ivy garland onto the hoop ring and begin to gently wrap it around the bottom part of the hoop ring. Now this I'm going to make kind of one of those half wreaths. I see them on Pinterest a lot and they're super popular, and they're really nice because they don't take up a whole lot of product, but they still look really fun and elegant. And you guys could always also paint this little hoop gold at the top if you wanted, but I just decided to leave it with just the green, and I feel like that is fine. You could also even wrap it in some pretty ribbon. Next thing I want to do is add in some of these pretty white flowers. They're going to be so pretty for spring. I want to give it just like this spring cottage feeling. In fact, a lot of my future upcoming DIYs are going to be very cottage centered. I feel like it's just a nice thing to do for this season, and really I know cottage decorating is coming back into fashion. I don't know if it really ever went out for me. I've always decorated in kind of a cottage style, just using kind of different flares on it, I guess. But I guess right now I want to do kind of like a romantic cottage style. That's what I'm in the mood for, so that's what I'm going to go with. And you guys can always remember, you can change up any decor idea that I'm doing and use the florals and colors that you guys love. So you can use any color of flowers on this. You don't have to use pink roses. This is what I have in my craft stash, and I do so many crafts for you guys. I really do try to make a point to repurpose and reuse as many things as I can, otherwise it gets rather pricey. And I also want to share with you guys how to do things on a budget. So here is how this is looking. Just continue to add pretty flowers as much as your heart's desire, but with this kind of half wreath, you are only going to be able to do about 1 or 2 kind of layers, just because you don't want it to get too heavy with that one little hoop piece. And here is how my pretty little spring cottage wreath turned out. I think it's really beautiful, simple, and elegant. You could add some pretty bows to the center part and drape it down, or whatever suits your fancy, but I feel like this is just so pretty and in that perfect little cottage style. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we are going to create a beautiful floating floral arrangement. So I have 4 4x6 Dollar Tree frames, and I'm going to go ahead and remove everything that's inside of the frame, including the glass. So I want to do that to all 4 of my frames, and then once I have everything removed, I'm even going to take some wire cutters and I'm just going to pop the little tabs out as well. Once I have the tabs popped out of the frame, I'm going to use some E6000 and just glue a tiny bit on the inside of the frame and then replace the glass. That way this beautiful floral can have glass windows in it. Again, I want this floral to appear like it's floating. So we're going to go ahead and take now the frames and glue the E6000 on the longer side of the frame. Stand that up and attach that to the other frame. Now I've already gone ahead and added all the glass and glued that back into place with these frames. So these frames are ready to go ahead and create our floral base. So this is really easy. It does take a little bit of patience, and you may want to kind of hold the frames kind of on for a minute or so, and make sure that they don't move around with the E6000 glue. But once you have them glued together, this E6000 glue is going to hold really, really well. Once I got these glued together and it was stable enough for me to move, I moved it over to a box for it to dry, and I let it dry for several hours before I started working on the floral. It's even good to let these dry overnight. But once you're finished with that, go ahead and take a piece of square styrofoam from the Dollar Tree, and I used a butter knife to poke a hole in it. You can also use scissors, just be very careful on this part. Go ahead and poke that extra frame piece through your styrofoam. Again, I just disassembled a picture frame and I used the longer piece. And then on your styrofoam, you want to use some reindeer moss, and you're going to cover your entire piece of styrofoam with reindeer moss. I started out with the little piece of frame in this, and then I went ahead and took that out because I did want to go ahead and cover the entire piece of styrofoam. Just remember, wherever you poked those holes, not to completely cover that part, because you are going to need to push that piece of frame back in. The single piece of frame is important because that's what's going to hold up your floral and give it that really beautiful floating appearance. Now you could also just add a top to this and glue your styrofoam on top of that, but again, I wanted this to appear floating, so we're going to use roses, carnations. I also have some cattails, some baby's breath, and that's what we're going to use. I have about 7 to 8 bundles. I just took them apart at their stems, and I'm beginning with the roses. And so to create a beautiful floral, I like to start kind of with my centerpiece items, and I felt like these roses were very beautiful, and I used some creams and some whites together. I want to give it that really beautiful winter white feeling. Also, this could be used for bridal. If you're decorating for a shabby chic spring, this is wonderful. So I'm just kind of alternating the different heights of the florals, using some of the roses, some of the carnations, some of the baby's breath, and then beginning to poke in some of the cattails. I do want to give this floral height and dimension, so it's not really particular what you use. Just make sure that you're using something that can give your floral a little bit of height around the top and then around the edges. That's going to give it that sprayed kind of appearance and give it that beautiful height and dimension. Now that I have my floral on, I just want to add a dab of hot glue to each side of that picture frame piece that we poked through the styrofoam. So nothing fancy here, just some dabs of hot glue, and then take the rest of your extra reindeer moss and kind of press over the spots that you hot glued. Now be careful on this part because that glue is exposed, so just make sure you lump that reindeer moss on, and then as the glue dries you can kind of push in on it. And that is going to be this beautiful floating floral. Now I did go a little bit over the top with this, and I added several layers of ribbons to each side, kind of where that reindeer moss was. So I added in some white satin ribbon from Dollar Tree. They also have this beautiful lace. I layered that in, and then I layered a cream lace on top of that, and I just love how these ribbons are mixing in with the flowers. So the roses have a little bit of cream to them, and then the carnations and the baby's breath is just all kind of mixing in really beautifully. And then of course I'm finishing it out with a beautiful bling pearl center, and look how amazing this is. This is so beautiful. I put an LED candle underneath. It's a flickering candle that I found actually at the thrift store. I was so lucky to find one. But look at how beautiful this is. This honestly would cost a lot of money in a store. And if you guys have ever looked into bridal flowers or just florals in general, they're very pricey, and we did this for a fraction of the cost. I think now for this next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to share with y'all how you can take a lantern, and this lantern is just from the Hobby Lobby or really any little lantern. You can make an easy little floral topper. So I'm just taking a couple of roses that I had left over from another project that I created in my last video, and I'm going to take it, I'm going to kind of bundle them together. So you want to choose a couple of roses that are kind of different sizes, and these are from garage sales and clearance sections, so no real big deal here, but you can take and bundle them together and then just tie them together with a little zip tie or piece of floral wire. Now I'm going to take this ribbon and loop it over on itself and then pinch it off in the center, and with a zip tie I'm just going to tie it off in the center, and there you guys have a sweet little bow. This is one of my most favorite ways to make a bow. It's so super simple and easy, and I think the results are great for the amount of stress and effort, which is almost minimal. So keep working at it. You guys can totally do this one. And then again, I'm just going to take another little zip tie and zip tie this to the top of my little lantern here, and then trim that off. Now I'm going to take some of this $1 Dollar General little cute heart ribbon, and I thought this was a fun way to share that you guys can use, you know, a bunch of different types of like specialty ribbon as detail accents, especially with your black and white ribbon. And the black and white ribbon did come from Amazon, and it's a houndstooth pattern. It does have a little bit of wire in it, so the bows stand up really nicely. But black and white to me is just super versatile. And then you can add your fun seasonal ribbon. And I just took and made kind of like a little shoelace loopy bow. So you just double up the ribbon and tie it in a shoelace. Like you'd be tying your shoelaces is what I mean, or your sneakers. And then you can pop that on to your larger bow, and then just take a smaller random piece of ribbon or piece of cut ribbon and then tie your smaller bow onto that. And then that's also going to cinch everything on there really nicely. And gosh, you guys can get so creative. And I think these bows are really fun to make using kind of some scrap ribbon. So maybe you don't want to use a ton of ribbon, but you have some little scraps. And then I decided to add a cute little heart to this because it is still going to be Valentine's Day soon, and so I'm still kind of like making some cute little heart things. I even have my Valentine's Day shirt on. I know it's getting a little bit late in the crafting game probably for Valentine's Day, but maybe you're doing something romantic or you still want to do a cute little last minute project. Well, this is a good one to whip out, but you don't have to add the hearts, of course. That's just an idea for seasonal decor. Leave the hearts out, or add in some little bunnies if you're starting to look forward to Easter, or maybe your fall Christmas crafting. Who knows what you guys have on your table. I hope the next DIY, we are going to make over this thrift store vase. I got it at the thrift store. It was originally $10. They had it half off, so I scored this beauty for $5. I'm going to take my Waverly white chalk paint, and honestly, this green is pretty cute, but I wanted to give it a little bit more of a fresh kind of springtime vibe. So I decided to go in with my chalk paint, and bear with me with my awkward mom dancing. I put on some Jaminat tunes to do my DIYs with today. So I did give it an entire coat of chalk paint, and then I let it dry about an hour in between. And then I gave it another coat of chalk paint. And so really, a lot of you all ask me about the chalk paint. paint. And I do like the Waverly chalk paint because it does dry really fast. So if you're doing DIY projects and you're an impatient crafter like me, you're going to like that it does dry quickly. The other thing about chalk paint that's really nice is that it's going to adhere to a glossy surface. So that's the other thing, is you can paint a lot of things that have glossy surfaces. Now here's a little hack for you in another DIY. You can take old thrift store florals, and these were not bad florals, but I wanted to give them a cohesive feel. So I had this can of spray paint in my stash, and it's a rose gold spray paint. Okay, it's maybe not a spring color, but rose gold kind of has a glam vintage vibe in my opinion. So to give these a makeover, I decided to just paint them an entire can of rose gold spray paint. And I did use the rose gold on another DIY to kind of really pull everything together. Now, you want to give them an entire coat on one side and kind of let them dry. So this is all that floral that was in that thrift store floral arrangement, and I gave them a good coat. And then once you kind of let it dry, you're going to flip everything over and give it another coat. And then you'll even kind of pick them up and spray paint them like in your hand. And that way you can kind of twist them around and just make sure everything's covered. I've showed you this hack before, but you can paint silk flowers, and maybe you guys have seen this done before, but I just think it's a really cool little hack and a great way to repurpose and reuse some thrift store florals, or maybe you guys have some old florals in your stash. Florals can be really expensive, so a great little hack you might want to use. Now I'm digging into my stash and I'm getting out some greenery and I'm popping it into my little thrift store vase. I did give it 2 coats of chalk paint, and it's dry enough now for me to create this floral with. I'm using some of my winter florals that I got on clearance. 80% off for these winter roses, but they are in a pastel color, so I feel like I can get away with this for springtime. And again, this is kind of like a springtime bridal romantic vibe. I'm popping in a couple of tall roses here. I create my flowers how I think they look pretty and for my home, so you guys go for it and just get creative. And so I'm using these pretty tall roses in the center, and then I ended up mixing in some metals to this arrangement because it isn't quite spring, so I thought this rose gold would just kind of pull in some warmer colors still. I guess I'm not totally ready to go all the way spring, although I'm right on the edge of it. I'm ready to pop out some bright pinks and yellows, and you're probably going to see that in some of my upcoming videos. I'm really close. But I do want to do kind of some vintage romance. And if you guys can tell, I found this really pretty top that I have on actually in this video at the thrift store. And so it kind of has this vintage romance vibe with these pretty rose gold colors. And so I didn't even realize, I was looking back on this video and I was like, I kind of went off the vibe of this shirt. So I guess that works. I don't really usually mix in metals with spring whites or colors like that, but I think it looks kind of pretty. I don't know, comment down below and let me know what you guys think about this. It's a little bit different, and really the rose gold is probably more of a fall color, but we're going for it. I'm getting creative, and I hope you guys have fun with it as well. Again, I'm popping it in on this little side table, and I think it works with kind of like a vintage vibe. Now for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take one of these cute little garden planters and 2 pieces of styrofoam, and I'm just going to hot glue the styrofoam to the base of the garden planters. And you can get the garden planter at Dollar Tree as well as the styrofoam, and 2 pieces of the square styrofoam fit perfectly into the little planter, which I absolutely love. Then I'm going to take some of the roses that I found at Dollar Tree, and I'm actually going to use the roses that come on want a 3-pack stem. So if you're looking for the roses, these are the ones that come on the 3-pack stem, because I want to make like a little rose garden in this garden planter. I thought that'd be so cute, and it just give it kind of a little happy spot wherever I choose to put this. I'm thinking about putting this in my kitchen, maybe next to my little coffee maker, or I might put this on my dining room table. So anyway, I'm just going to begin to add roses in different heights to my little garden planter. So clip off your roses and then just add them kind of in a variety of heights. You don't want them to all be the same. You want them to be a little bit shorter, probably as you come around the front, and then have them be a little bit taller in the center and up in the middle. And you also want to put a couple in the back too. Don't forget about the back, unless you're just going to have it facing a wall. But if it's going to be maybe on a dining room table, again, you probably want it to look symmetrical all the way around. So continue to add those cute little roses. And then once I had that done, I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree garden moss, and I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue on top of the styrofoam, and then just add some of that pretty garden moss on top of that to fill in where I didn't have any greenery. And that's just a fun little tip. It's $1 for a bag of garden moss. It's much cheaper than using greenery, and it just makes it look, nice and fresh. And if you go to a store, these type of arrangements really are really expensive, and so really you don't have much in this, especially if you buy the 3-pack of the Dollar Tree roses. The next thing I want to do is use some of my leftover ribbon and make a cute little bow. So I'm just taking and making a couple of little loops with my ribbon and then tying it off in the center with my pipe cleaner. This is such a super easy way to make a bow. You just take and you loop the ribbon over on itself, and I did this 4 times to create 4 little loops here. And then I decided to add in a little bit different kinds of ribbon. And so I just made one little loop here with the white ribbon, and then one little loop with this red ribbon. And again, this is just Christmas ribbon with the red ribbon, and then some Valentine's Day ribbon, actually, that I had in my crafting stash from last season. So I just went ahead and added that into the center of this, and then I'm going to pop that into the center of my cute little arrangement. And the way I'm going to get into the center is by attaching it to this little Dollar Tree Valentine heart pick. I told you guys about this in my Valentine's Day haul, and these are amazing. They work so great for adding into florals and all of that good stuff. Now I'm going to tie the whole thing together with this cute little red and white gingham ribbon. Again, ribbon that I had left over from Christmas. So don't pack up all of your red Christmas ribbon. It can definitely be repurposed and reused for Valentine's Day. And how cute is this? Now I'm just going to give my little ribbon a bit of some fluffing and curly cues, and voila, I have an ultra fabulous arrangement on a budget. And you guys would never know that this was all Dollar Tree. So fun and fabulous. Just made this happy Valentine's Day sign from the Dollar Tree. I really like this little burlap spot on it. I'm just using some paint, some white paint and a paintbrush. I already had this paint on hand, and I'm just painting one coat of white on first. And then after I get the first coat of white paint on, I'm going to let that dry really well. And then I'm going to go in with some pink craft paint, and I actually mixed the pink and the white together. And I'm just going to finish it up like this. And I think this came out so darling, perfect for your Valentine's, especially if you're doing a pastel aesthetic. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a beautiful Valentine's Deco mesh wreath. So I'm using 2 rolls of white Deco mesh from Dollar Tree, 15 pipe cleaners, this wire round form, and then 2 rolls of the pink Deco mesh, and then ribbon and florals of your choice. So you're going to take your pipe cleaner and just wrap it around that first row on the outer edge of your wreath frame. Twist your pipe cleaner twice, and then just kind of form like a little poof with your Deco mesh. You don't have to get fancy with this at all. So you're just going to continue to work around that outer edge of your wire wreath form, and you're going to create the little poof, and then wrap that pipe cleaner around. Leave the pipe cleaners long because we're going to use the same pipe cleaner to go around and around your wreath with pink and white and pink and white. So you're going to continue to go around all the way till you get to the end of the little loop here, and then you're going to start in with your pink, and you're going to kind of layer your pink on top of your white. So just kind of pinch it in and then wrap it around that pipe cleaner, and then create another poof, and then go to your next pipe cleaner, and just keeping working around your entire wreath until you get to the end again. And then with the roll of white deco mesh, you're going to go around and around your wreath again. So you're going to use both rolls of deco mesh for that one. Now we're going to do the same process on the inner ring. So you're just going to pinch it together, take that pipe cleaner, leave it long, twist it around twice, and then go around your wreath with the pink. And then you're going to alternate with the white, and you're going to continue to do that until you run out of the pink and white. And so here it is once you have all your poofs round and round your wreath. And then you're going to cut 8-inch strips of ribbon of your choice. I love to use wired ribbon. This little burlap with the lace is adorable, so I'm going to cut 12 8-inch strips of this wired burlap ribbon that I found at Dollar Tree. And then I'm also going to notch the ends, so you just cut it right here at the end, and that's going to dovetail it and make it have that beautiful boutique finish. I'm also going to do that with the wired pink ribbon from Dollar Tree. So I'm just going to cut right up after I fold it in half. Okay, now that we have all of our wired ribbon cut, we're going to cut some of the detailed ribbon. I chose this really pretty pale pink heart ribbon, and then also some XO ribbon. So I did 6 each of the smaller ribbon, and these are all ribbons from Dollar Tree. You guys can get all of this from Dollar Tree. So take a piece of pink ribbon and a piece of burlap ribbon, and then one of your smaller ribbons, pinch it together and just twist it on to where that pipe cleaner is. You're going to twist it really well, nice and tight, then you can fluff out those pretty pieces of ribbon, and then you're going to move on to the next one. And you're going to do this all the way around your wreath, pinching these together. And I kind of alternated how I layered them just to give it a little bit of dimension, but really you guys can't mess this up. It's super easy, and these come out so pretty. So once I get done with this, I am going to go ahead and go in and just clip those pieces of pipe cleaner off. And once you poof out your ribbon, you really can't see that those pipe cleaners were those different colors. And then you're going to go around the entire bottom part of the wreath and tie in your ribbons. So you're going to have lots of beautiful ribbons overflowing. And then what I want to do is I want to add in that beautiful sign that we created earlier. So I'm just using a string to tie onto the sign. I'm going to snip that off, and then I'm going to wire that on with some pipe cleaner, and it comes out so beautiful. And you guys could totally stop there, but if you want to get a little bit extra, you can create an Olivia bow, and I have had lots of you guys really enjoy the tutorials on this Olivia bow. You just take your wired ribbon, you loop it over on itself about 3 times, and I will leave a link below of a detailed instructional video if you guys need me to go slower with more instructions. But you just loop it over on itself, cut a tiny notch in the center, remember just a very tiny knot, and then twist your ribbon on, and you can create as many layers as you want for your wreath. So once you have your bow all done, you can fluff it out and then just use a pipe cleaner to attach it to your wreath. I chose to attach my bow kind of off center up to the right of my wreath, and you're definitely going to want to do some fluffing. That's the secret to my bows. And then I had this little extra bow on hand from another project, so I'm just going to wire it onto the base. It has some more burlap ribbon, and then a pretty little Dollar Tree rose. They also sell pink and white polka dot ribbon in the baby section. If you guys need more options for pink ribbon, if you're doing this very sweet and girly Valentine's wreath with me. So I'm just adding in some really pretty Dollar Tree florals. They have pink hydrangeas, these white roses, just to kind of give it some dimension. And I did go ahead and get a little bit extra too and add these into some of the centers of my poofs. Now also I wanted to add in some greenery. That just kind of makes this really beautiful and also gives it that kind of spring vibe. You guys, this is so beautiful. It really made my heart smile. I love to go ahead and add in this Valentine's spring decor. After the Christmas season, I used a lot of heavy red, so I'm really ready to lighten up, and it looks so beautiful in my home. And like I said, it just really makes me smile when I look at it.
Thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafty decor adventure. It is a true blessing and honor to have you all here. If you all are new, welcome. I'm Olivia with Olivia's Romantic Home. I love to share with you guys how you can make your home's boutique gorgeous on a budget. And I truly believe that y'all don't have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. Now listen, for everybody that comes back and loves on me, thank you so, so much. Thank you also for your prayers as I am recovering from this ankle injury. Taking a tumble off my curtains, wow, really opened my eyes to safety issues in my home. And just, you know, sometimes God sets you down for a reason. So thank you guys again for being here. Please keep tuning in. I am going to continue to post on my regular scheduled postings. That's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday on YouTube, and I post daily over my Olivia's Romantic Home Facebook page. So pop over there. I love to keep you guys inspired. Crafting and decorating is what I have always loved to do ever since I was a little girl. So I'm blessed to share my love of crafting and decorating with you guys. And trust me when I tell you, I am just so thankful that you guys are here, that we have this amazing little community, and for all of your beautiful comments. I am actually proud to go into my comment section and see how kind everybody is. And speaking of kindness, I always encourage everybody to be kind online. You just don't ever know what kind of day somebody's having, what they're going through. So if you're on Facebook or any kind of social media page, which I believe our world is definitely moving more into a social media age, but if you guys are on any type of social media pages, heart people's posts, give them a like, give them a comment that's positive and loving and uplifting, because I guarantee you that that is going to just help their day be better, and it's going to help you guys put out positivity into this world. And if there's something that you see online that you don't like, just keep going. You don't have to comment on it. You can just keep going. Benji Bear is very involved in the producing of my videos. So anyway, long story short, I love y'all. Give yourself some grace and give others grace as well. I can't wait for our next video, and until our next video, remember, be kind to yourselves and be kind to one another. Touch you guys very soon. Bye-bye. Love you.